I think this is a great event for different companies to be here, and those companies are ones like ours, like Land O'Lakes, that are into agriculture and have been so for a very long time, basic manufacturers. But then you also have new startups with new great ideas and new platforms that they bring into the market. And we also have venture capitalists and folks who want to invest into the space. So it's a great venue to be able to collaborate and look to see what's coming and have great discussions, form some partnerships, and then really see how we can change the agriculture going forward. I believe there's lots of areas of investment and areas that are kind of ripe for disruption or ripe for innovation, maybe even a better way to say it. I think the idea of predicting and helping farmers with their return on investment is a good area. Helping folks with grain and grain management. So once you've harvested, whatever crop comes off the field, what do you do with it and how do we automate those specific areas? I think those are all great areas to get into. I still think there's, drones and airplanes and satellites were a big hype a couple of years ago. I think we're getting into the mode now where we're making better use of it, and there's some good solutions out in the market, but they still have to be integrated back into a larger platform. So how do you bring all those pieces together, and how do you get different tools to work with one another? I think that's still a big area of opportunity that we haven't quite solved yet. Now, this is a great venue for folks to have different conversations, but those are all super interesting things. And then with artificial intelligence coming into the market, and all the different capabilities that it brings, from computer vision to speech recognition, and even things like looking at videos and being able to pick out things out of videos, are all things that could be super interesting and could continue to add to the portfolios that we have today. Artificial intelligence is going to continue to get further refined. I think some of the earlier things we have now, some of the earlier prototypes, are going to be probably more mainstream going forward. So I look forward to see what's coming down the pipe from that. I do think things like blockchain are going to be interesting in the industry. We look at traceability and food tracking, but I think that's going to be, as consumer demand goes up in that area, how can we really leverage blockchain to make some differences there? I think that's going to be super important and super interesting. I think things like voice assistants are going to be another area that is in the consumer market today with the Amazon Echo and the Google Assistant, but how could that help farmers, right? And then how do we, instead of having to go into a tool and click a bunch of buttons, could we just ask the question, and then the question is either quickly answered or routed to somebody who can answer that question? I think those types of things are going to be super interesting going forward. And then the last area, I think robotics is going to be really interesting. I mean, labor is a big challenge in agriculture today. Finding good labor that's there when you need them and does a really nice job and at the rate that you want it to pay is not exactly there. So I think with maybe investments in robotics and what robotics brings, especially in the specialty crop markets, that's going to be super interesting.